In the next few minutes, probably won't take 20 minutes, we want to talk about Wheelock chapter 6. In Wheelock chapter 6, he treats the future and imperfect of sum and introduces a new word, possum. Sum, as you might remember from the previous video, is the way you say I am. So sum means I am, as in Descartes' famous dictum, cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. So sum means I am. Es means you are, when the you is one you. Est means he, she, or it is. So you French speakers out there will be happy to know that that's exactly the same. Sumus, we are. Estis, y'all are. At least you plural are. And then sunt, they are. This is all review. Hopefully you know that all so well. Well, the first thing we learn in this new chapter is the future of sum. And here's how it looks. Now, the endings are exactly the same as the ones we've had before. O-S-T, M-U-S-T-I-S-N-T. So that's nice. The connecting vowels, if you would, are exactly the same as the future tense that we learned in the previous chapter. You'll remember the future adds a B usually, at least for the first and second conjugations, for the first and second groups of verbs. They add bo, bis, bit, bimus, bitus, bunt to the ending. And you might remember that the connecting vowels are I-O-U. So an I-O-U is about the future. And so the connecting vowels, if you look here, I, O, and U. So we have O-S-T, M-U-S-T-I-S-N-T, that's the same. And then we have the I-O-U endings of the future, I, O, and U. Now, I'm not quite sure, nothing has come to mind to tell you how to remember the ER as the base form of future. Maybe Spanish speakers, I think there's an R involved in the future in Spanish and French, if I remember correctly. But I don't know. Arrow, tell me about the future. I don't know how to do that. But basically, ER is on the front, and then those IOU connecting vowels, and then the OST, MUST, ISNT endings, and we have the future of sum. Arrow means, Arrow, how are you? Arrow is I will be. Eris, you will be, one you. He, she, or it will be. Erit. Eramus, we will be. Eritus, y'all will be, or uses will be, you plural. Errant, they will be. Not quite sure how to help you save brain space there, but this is the future of sum. The imperfect of sum is then very similar as well. Once you've got the ER, once you've associated ER with sum, the rest is easy. So the first person singular has an M. I'm sorry, it's not an O, but if it had been an O, you'd have thought it was future. So they had to come up with something different for the past, and they came up with an M. But the rest is the same, S-T, M-U-S-T-I-S-N-T, and then the A, you remember that the imperfect of the imperfect endings we learned in the previous chapter were bom, bos, bot, bomus, botus, bont, with that A having to do with the past. So the ER is from sum, the A is the imperfect connecting vowel, and then pretty much the same endings as we've already learned, with a slight variation there. But it's the same variation we saw with the imperfect in the previous chapter. So, aram, arasarat, aramas, aratus, arant. Actually, it's aram, arasarat, aramas, aratus, arant. Actually, I said it right first time. So, I was, you singular were, he, she, or it was, we were, you plural were, they were. And there you have the imperfect. So this chapter is actually pretty short. I'm trying to stretch it out and make it harder than it is, but it's unfortunately very easy. So, sum es est, sumus estis sunt, I am, you are, present. Ero, eris, erit, eramus, eritus, errant, the future, I will be, you will be, he will be. And now, aram, aras, arat, aramus, aratus, arant. This is I was, you were, and so forth. That's half the chapter right there. Man. and we've only gone almost 6 minutes, so I'm sorry, it's going to be short. So the other part of this chapter is basically a matter of vocabulary. So if sum means I am, possum means I am able. It's not in Latin. A possum is not something that lies and pretends dead in the middle of the street. So possum is a word. Now I put these dashes in here not because they're real. Please don't think that the dashes actually represent something real. The dashes do not represent something real. They're just my way of trying to help you see how this thing is put together. So you can see that the word I am able is really just sum with either POS or POT on the front. So sum es est, sumus est sunt. See, it's all right there. And you add the fundamental addition is pot. We've added pot. It was legal in ancient Rome. We've added pot to sum here. Now what happens is, and this is a matter of linguistics, that when the pot was added to an S word, it changed to an S to make the word easier to say. And so in front of sum, it became possum instead of potsum. Potsum. I mean, just try it. Potsum, possum. Which is easier to say? Obviously, possum is easier to say. And so they didn't do potsumus, but they did possumus. And they didn't do potsunt, they did possunt. So wherever there was an S, it put the S. Where there is something else, it put the T. So possum, potes, potest. Possumus, potestus, possunt. And there you have it. I am able, you, one you, are able. A he, she, or it is able. We are able. Y'all are able, or you plural are able, and they are able. And so that is the present tense of possum. Okay, questions about that? You can ask them. You're not responding. This is a recording. Sorry. Okay, so let's move on to the future. The future, again, basically it takes the future of sum, ero, eris, erit, erimus, eritus, erunt, takes the future of sum and adds pot to the front. None of these begin with a S, and so it stays pot. Potero, poterus, poterit. Poterimus, poteritus, poterunt. I will be able, you will be able, a he, she, or it will be able, we will be able, you plural will be able, they will be able, and that's the future of possum. And so you might just pause this and jot down on a napkin, if you're sitting at some McDonald's on Wi-Fi, go ahead and write down what you think the imperfect is going to be. And now we're back. Here's what the imperfect is going to look like. We've taken the imperfect of sum, eram, eras, erat, eramus, eratus, erant, and we've put pot on the front. Again, you don't want to do this in a public place. But I was able, you singular were able, he, she, or it was able, we were able, you plural were able, they were able, and that is pretty much the chapter. Man, haven't even gotten to 10 minutes yet. This is an atrocity how short this thing is going to be. So this chapter was about the future and imperfect of sum. It was about possum, both in the present and the future and the imperfect. There are a few other odds and ends in this chapter, which I should have, put on a kind of a spread it out one by one, but I failed. But here are the odds and ends. Hopefully you know that esse is the infinitive of sum. So esse means to be. Esse, out, known esse, to be or not to be. Posse is the infinitive of possum. And really it is just added the pot and kind of, there was a car crash and some things got crumpled together. And so the T became an S in front of the SE of esse. Anyway, take a course in linguistics, for goodness sake. But posse is the infinitive to be able. Now, a word like possum needs an infinitive usually to complete its its meaning, I mean. So if I say, I'm able, usually there's something has gone on before. Can you help me lift this? I am able to lift this. You can see how the word to be able, or I am able, you are able, expects an infinitive after it. I am able to get there on time. I am able to lift 200 pounds. I am able to translate Latin. So that's called a complementary infinitive. The word possum expects an infinitive to follow it in most instances. One more thing I wanted to mention, and that is there are often little quirks to words. You want to go through the vocabulary. I'm sure your teacher will give you a quiz to make sure you do. But que is a special kind of... I hesitate to call it a word because it always goes on the end of another word. It's like a leech, or what is that? What is that little? Is it a moray that kind of sucks onto the bottom of a shark, or I forget what it's called. It's not a moray, but there's a name for this fish. It just kind of hangs along. So que is not really a word by itself, but it has the meaning of a word in English. But it's always attached. It's always leeching on to some other word. So take the common expression senatus populuque Romani. The que here is going to jump in between these two words in English as and. So the Senate and the Roman people. So the que, even though it is attached like a leech to populi, it's going to leap off in English as an and it's going to come before the word, in front of the word that it's attached to. So senatus populique Romani, the Senate and the Roman people. So just look through there's some other things in the vocabulary you might pay attention to. So for example, the word for God, Deus, has some kind of syncopated or crashed forms as well in various places as well. This has been a 13-minute presentation of Chapter 6 of Wheelock's Masterful Latin Introduction. Thank you.